If you grew up like I did, eating dinner every Sunday at Grandma's house, today's video is gonna feel a little familiar. We are making the most delicious brown sugar barbecue meatloaf. We're also making some fresh fried okra, just like I grew up eating, the most delicious biscuits you've ever tasted in your life. And then for dessert, we're making a chocolate chip cookie cobbler. Nothing fancy, just good old Southern home cooking. Y'all come hang out with me and let's go get Sunday dinner started. You're not gonna believe it when I tell you these biscuits have no butter in the biscuit mix themselves, but yet they taste like the most pillowy, buttery, fluffy biscuit you've ever tasted in your life. These are perfect for a weeknight when you just want a biscuit with your meal and want something easy, or they're delicious enough to have with Sunday dinner. So first of all, I'm just mixing together my dry ingredients. So far, all I've done is added 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. I got that whisked up really well, and then we're gonna need about 2 cups of heavy cream, maybe a little bit more, but you want to start with about 2 cups until we get a dough that is still a little bit sticky, but yet is scoopable and you can kind of make into rustic little biscuit balls like I'm showing here. Next, I'm just going to add those into my greased iron skillet until I have about 16-ish biscuits. I do leave a little bit of room between because of course these are going to rise and spread out as they bake. Then these go into an oven at 425 for about 20 to 25 minutes until the tops are nice and golden brown. Now for the last part, I do melt a little bit of butter and just drizzle that over the tops. But that heavy cream, y'all, inside the biscuits is enough fat. There's no cutting in butter for this recipe. There's no rolling out biscuit dough on your counter. These are so good, so soft and pillowy. You would never guess you make them with heavy cream. This barbecue brown sugar meatloaf is one of my most favorite recipes. It has one ingredient in here that's a little bit unexpected, but just adds a richness and lots of flavor to this. It is so, so good. So I had almost 1.5 pounds of lean ground beef. This was the 90-10 variety. To that, I'm adding 1 pound of breakfast sausage, just the regular old flavor. We're adding 2 eggs, 1/2 cup of diced onion, and then 1 packet of the Lipton beefy onion soup mix. I'm also going to sprinkle in a good bit of garlic powder, some black pepper, about 3/4 cup of just regular plain breadcrumbs. Then we're going to add in a couple tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, about 1/2 cup of milk. We're also going to add 1/4 cup of barbecue sauce. And then of course, we're just going to get in there. I like to wear some gloves. I can't stand the feeling of like raw meat and stuff under my fingernails. So I just wear some gloves and mix that really well with my hands. Then of course, we're just going to shape that into a loaf. I like to use a 9x13 or a bigger pan as opposed to like a loaf pan because this delicious glaze gets on all the sides as opposed to just the top. Also, I'm showing you, this is my favorite barbecue sauce. I think I've told you guys before, not sponsored or anything like that. I just really love this Kinder's barbecue sauce. So now onto the glaze in a separate bowl. I'm just mixing together some of that barbecue sauce, a little bit of brown sugar, some garlic powder, a little bit of ketchup, and we're just gonna mix that together really well. And then we're gonna go ahead and glaze our meatloaf one time. We're just gonna add a thin glaze. This is gonna go into the oven. We're gonna take it out about halfway through, add another little thin layer of glaze, and then one more layer about 10 or 15 minutes before the whole thing is done. Like I said, the sausage in here just adds kind of an unexpected richness. Like when you bite into it, you really can't tell there's breakfast sausage in it. It just deepens that flavor, adds a little bit of fat. So I do recommend, starting with a lean ground beef. But even people who don't love meatloaf, have them try this recipe. I myself am not a huge fan of a meatloaf with like a heavy ketchup topping, but this one I absolutely love. I even maybe ate this for breakfast the next morning after I made it. You can see how juicy and tender it is. Y'all gotta give this recipe a try. Fried okra, and especially fresh fried okra, is seriously a delicacy in my house. I fry okra all the time using a frozen bag, but something about cutting your own and frying up that fresh okra, you seriously cannot get any better. So I got really lucky, and a local little produce store had a ton of fresh okra. So this was about a little over 1.5 pounds of okra. I just scrubbed it clean really well and then sliced it into about 1/2 inch pieces. You don't want them really, really small, but you also don't want them really thick. Now that we have our okra cut up, all we're gonna do is add it to a large bowl, and we're just gonna sprinkle on some cornmeal and some flour. Now, growing up, my mama and grandpa always made fried okra just using flour, but I really like the addition of just a tiny bit of cornmeal. It just gives it that little extra crunch, and it's so delicious. So I don't measure that part. You do want to start with cornmeal, and you only want to add a little bit, because if you add your flour first, it's going to coat your okra and your cornmeal won't stick at all. So just sprinkle on a little bit of cornmeal, then add your flour, and then of course toss it around until everything sticks. Next, you want to get out your large skillet. I like to use either canola oil or vegetable oil for this. I just pour some oil starting in the center of the pan, and then when it reaches the edges, that's enough. We just want a really thin layer of oil. Then next, I just grab my slotted spoon, add in my okra, kind of shaking off that extra cornmeal and flour. Then when you have enough in your pan, not to crowd the pan, you don't want to touch it. You want to let these sit until they get a nice coating on the bottom and a little bit on the sides, because if you stir too soon, all your breading is just going to come off and you're just going to have a pan of a big old mess. So just let them sit for 5 to 7 minutes until they get golden brown, and then you can start to flip. When the other side is nice and golden, I just get that slotted spoon, take them out of the pan onto some paper towels to let that excess grease, and add a little bit of salt, and these are done. I'm not even kidding you when I tell you my family and I fight over the crumbs of this fried okra. Do this in batches as well. If you've never tried fresh fried okra, this is your sign. I don't know about y'all, but my mama and my grandpa would never be caught on a Sunday dinner and not have some kind of dessert. This chocolate chip cookie cobbler is incredible and so easy to make. Let's make it. So for this recipe, you're just gonna need an 8x8 baking dish, and to that, we're just gonna add some packed brown sugar. We're gonna add some white sugar, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a tiny pinch of salt. Next, we're just gonna whisk everything together. Next to that, we're just gonna add in 2 tablespoons of melted butter. Then I have about 1 1/4 cup of boiling hot water. We're just gonna pour that right in as well, along with a little bit of vanilla extract. And then again, we're just gonna whisk everything together. This is gonna create the most delicious chocolate sauce that these little cookies are kind of nestled in. Something happens when you bake it. It's amazing. This is just so good. So of course we're going to add in our cookies next. Just any store-bought pack of cookies will work. I just use the regular old Nestle Toll House chocolate chip cookies. You're just going to break them apart and add all of them to our little chocolate sauce mixture. This goes into the oven when these cookies are nice and golden on top and it's hot and bubbly. Y'all just look at this. I like to sprinkle just a tiny bit of flaky sea salt on top. And of course, we gotta serve this with some vanilla ice cream. We just added that to the bottom. Just look at this chocolate chip cookie cobbler, y'all. This was so good. My girls said it's their new favorite. Okay, let me know how it was at your grandma's house. Did she sit down with everybody and enjoy the meal, or was she up in her apron, filling up sweet tea, grabbing silverware, doing refills, bringing you second plates of food. Let me know how it was where you were. I remember my grandmother kind of doing a mixture of both. And honestly, y'all, when I think about it, that's exactly how I am today. My family can attest to this. When we have dinner, I fix everybody's plates, because I just want to, I'm not forced to, but I fix everybody's plates. And then if somebody needs something, I'm usually getting up to get them whatever they need or get them seconds. I just genuinely enjoy doing that for my family. My mama is the same way. She never ever sits down to eat. So let me know how it is in your family and how it was at your grandma's for Sunday dinner. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Let me know down in the comments how your grandma was, and I'll see you guys really soon in my next video. Bye, y'all.